It's actually like fairly standard seating in general. Everybody sort of seems to take the same seats.
Okay, we're ready to go.
All right, welcome to the June 1st, 2026 meeting of the Transportation Committee. My name is Jason Fromowitz. I'm the chair of the committee. Today we are joined by Assistant District Manager Brendan Berth. This meeting is called to order at 7:01 p.m. As a reminder, New York State law requires all committee members who are not able to attend the meeting in person to have their cameras on and their first and last names displayed from the time the meeting is called to order until the meeting is adjourned. Members of the public who are here, who are attending virtually, you may raise any questions or comments that you have through the Q&A feature of Zoom. Members of the public who are here in person, you can raise any questions that you have by raising your hand. If there's time following the committee's discussion, we will field questions from the public. Sean will be taking minutes tonight. Thank you, Sean. We will not take attendance by roll call, and Brendan will conduct the roll call.
Committee members, I will call your name. Your name is called, please say present. I'll announce if there is quorum. Michael Cohen.
Present.
Maya Donahue.
Present.
Barack Friedman.
Present.
Jason Fromowitz.
Present.
Eric Goldberg. I do not see. Sean Lamoureux.
Present.
Anna Picior. I also don't see. Marion Rowe.
Present.
Larry Shire.
Present.
And Jerry Weinstein.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Great, thank you. Rosanna. The agenda for tonight's meeting was distributed ahead of time. You've got the board office, there's a projector on screen for you. If there's no objection, we will adopt the agenda. Members of the committee, if you object to adopting the agenda, please raise your hand. No objection, the agenda is adopted. The minutes from the April 6th and May 4th meetings were distributed ahead of time by the board office. If there's no objection, we will adopt both minutes as drafted. Members of the committee, if you object to adopting either set of minutes, please raise your hand and indicate which set of minutes you'd like to amend. All right, seeing no objection, the minutes from April 6th and May 4th are adopted and they will be soon available on the CV6 website. In order to conduct an efficient meeting, let's observe a few ground rules. First, no one may speak until granted the floor. Committee members who are here in person, if you have a question about committee business or wish to make a motion, please raise your hand and I'll identify you so you can speak. Committee members unable to attend in person, if you have a question about committee business, you may raise your hand through Zoom and I will identify you so you can speak. All committee members, it's extremely important that only one person speak at a time so that members of the public can understand what is being said by each committee member. Chat function for committee members present via Zoom should not be used for committee business or questions about agenda topics. All such remarks should be made on the record by raising your hand through Zoom. Chat should only be used to alert technical difficulties that you are having or state in writing information like an email address that was already stated aloud in the record during the meeting. All right. We will start off the agenda with a report from the Department of Transportation. I don't see. Go ahead,
I'm here.
You have the floor.
Hi, everyone. It's Colleen Chattergoon from City Department of Transportation. How are you? Just to let you know, we are getting ready for FIFA. We've been busy coordinating and working with other agencies as well as the community boards for the traffic mitigation when FIFA is in town. And a lot of the information is on our DOT website. We have on match days, official New York, New Jersey Stadium shuttle buses will provide nonstop express services for ticket holders to and from Manhattan and the New Jersey Stadium in New Jersey via the Lincoln Tunnel. New York, New Jersey Stadium shuttle buses will be making pickups and drop-offs at 3 Manhattan locations, the Port Authority Bus Terminal, Midtown North at Columbus Circle, and Midtown East near Grand Central. On each match day, to reduce traffic and facilitate mass transit, New York City will convert 42nd Street into a bus-only corridor from 1st Avenue to 12th Avenue, dedicate the 2 easternmost lanes of traffic along 6th Avenue as bus-only lanes from 42nd to 59th Street, utilize the 2 existing bus lanes along 5th Avenue from 42nd Street to 59th Street, and convert West 40th Street between 8th Avenue and 11th Avenue and West 41st Street between 8th and 10th Avenue into a bus-only block. So access on these bus lanes will be limited to New York, New Jersey Stadium shuttle buses, MTA local buses, official World Cup affiliate emergency vehicles, and emergency response vehicles. The dedicated space on all 5 streets will begin 6 hours before local matches and start up and to 3 hours after each match ends. So that's the traffic mitigation plan. We've also been working closely with deliveries, doing the matches, and there are going to be restricted delivery hours. Our Office of Freight and Mobility has been working with businesses, within the area on the delivery options, and I'm more than happy to share all of this information to the community board. Again, the link is on our website. So any questions that you may have, feel free to let me know. Brendan did send me something about a query that residents had on 42nd Street. So I'm working on getting that response, Brendan. So I'll keep you posted on that tomorrow. So thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Want to know exactly, like, number one, what days is it in effect? And number two, like, when will we know what the hours are gonna be each day?
Okay,
So
can
that's-
you- Yeah.
For the traffic mitigations on the World Cup, just repeat
Well, the game times are known. There are 8 matches.
yeah. There are actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Larry's right. There are 8 matches. That's correct.
and what's the times around the games that it'll be in effect?
You have a list of them.
I do have a list. It's on our website. I can share that because I'm looking for it right now. So I can share with you the hours that it's going to be restricted. Oh, let's see. We're talking about, let's see, match days, delivery restrictions. For example, on June 13, it's going to be 12 p.m. to 11 p.m. On the 16, it's going to be 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. So again, I will
varies.
share. Yeah, I will share that with the community board.
Thanks. Michael, did you have something else? No.
Yeah, I had another question.
Go ahead.
So I was hearing about, like, we're gonna be doing this thing, like, in addition to, while the games are going on in New Jersey, it's gonna be this thing where there's gonna be this so-called soccer streets, where they're gonna let, like, I don't know if DOT's involved in that, where they're gonna have, like, full streets where they can play soccer.
But was there a question about the soccer streets program?
Yeah, so I want to know, like, where's that gonna be set up?
Uh, where will the Soccer Streets program be set up?
Yeah,
And let me get back to you. I'm going to check with our Office of Special Events, and I'll let Brendan know, and he can share that information with you.
Thanks, Don. Larry, go ahead.
Are any of these 8 matches not fully sold out?
I don't know. I don't have information about that, Larry. I mean, the web link is the link is on, it's made public. So if you want to find that out, you would have to go and check it out. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not keeping track of the matches and whether they're sold out or not.
Well,
You
the
don't
reason
think it's
reason
available?
I asked the question
Yeah.
also is with regard to whether this full closure is required if you've got only a half-full stadium. A match between countries that have been banned from the United States and that type of stuff.
I wouldn't have that information, and it's unlikely you're going to have a half full stadium. So I got that, Larry.
Good.
Hi, Colleen. I think the bus corridors sound great, and I was wondering if the DOT is going to do any like data collection on how those buses are moving for potential permanent busways in the future.
That's an excellent question, and I'm sure we are going to be doing some data collection, obviously, to see the movement of it and what the percentage is and compare that with and keep in mind we're going to have so many people in New York City. I don't know what the estimate's going to be, but I'm guessing it's going to be a large volume of
Yes.
people visiting New York City. I don't want to go overboard and tell you. But I'm sure we are going to be tracking the traffic analysis on that, keeping
great.
track of it.
I'm glad the local buses will be able to use it as well. It's not exclusive for the World Cup buses.
Yes, us too. We're glad about that.
I'll piggyback on that quickly, just for background. Our community board as well as community boards, 4 and 5 have asked
Right.
for a 42nd Street busway, so it's
Mhm.
exciting to see maybe this as like a pilot potentially for permanent placement, which I think is what you were alluding to, so yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a good
Hey,
reminder. Great segue into it, yeah.
hey, Colleen, it's Barack here. Good to see you virtually.
Nice to see you, Ben.
Question for you, sorry, off-topic question. We're implementing now green waves on First Avenue and Second Avenue, and they're kind of in the lower, kind of like above Houston to like the 20s and whatnot.
Mhm.
And then there on Third Avenue, we have one north of 60th Street, but they all, seem to avoid the heart of Midtown. And I wonder, we also have an almost unanimous resolution asking for a green wave on Third Avenue between 24th and 59th. So I was wondering, is there something special about Midtown? Because it seems to be a huge benefit to the communities. Why not benefit Midtown? Anyway, that's the question. Sorry for the long-winded.
Yeah, no, I do recall that resolution, and it's not to say that we would not consider it. I'll follow up with the team and I'll let them know. I'll try to get some information about it in terms of next steps and if that would be a likely candidate, and if so, when we would be able to do that.
Thank you.
Mhm.
I saw that Uber's doing shuttles. Are they considered a partner that's using the dedicated lanes? Are they doing normal? Are they coordinating with DOT or is it sort of like a rogue operation that's gonna use the normal transportation?
From what I know, it's buses. We're encouraging folks to take mass transit and, and walk to the destinations that they have to go to, depending on where they have to go to. I mean, if Uber is going to be operating, I'm sure they're working through the logistics, with just the same thing with TLC as well. I'm sure they're working through the logistics with our agency and with TLC.
or something from me, in our last full board meeting, we had a resident, raise concerns about 23rd Street, and the FDR service road all the way on the east side. We've talked about that intersection before, concerns with like sight lines, and your pedestrian safety. I think where we basically have left things in the past was that there wasn't going to be any changes to the intersection until the ESCR project was finished. I guess I just wanted to bring up that it continues to be a concern, and we still have some time until ESCR will be finished. So if there's just basically wanted to reemphasize that it continues to be concerns there, with even ongoing work.
Yeah, and Brenda did send me an email recently about that, so we can take a look at that again.
That'd be great. And yeah, I don't know, potentially there might be other things that could be explored given the leadership at DOT.
Well, specifically, there's a roadway shift further east, almost adjacent to the flood wall, which is changing the angle of approach at 23rd Street.
That's Sergeant?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I don't think so. There's signage that it was gonna be happening, just double checks. Yeah.
Just
Sure,
a,
we'll take a look at that.
just a quick add-on about that intersection. We did a walkthrough together, but the construction wasn't done yet. And that intersection is so complex. I wonder if it's worth just another walkthrough once the construction, I don't know if you think it's worth it, but another walkthrough once the construction is complete, because the intersection is so complex.
Do you know when that construction is going to wrap up? Does this community board know? Do you have any?
I think we're probably in the many months away,
Mhm.
I would need to check, I would need to double check.
This is in connection with the beginning of construction, the parallel
Yes.
conveyance
Mhm.
onto the sidewalk between 20th and 23rd Street on the west side. So that's why they're shifting the traffic lanes under the FDR.
So Brandon, why don't we reconnect? We can find out from DDC. Because I do recall we did have that walkthrough and DDC mentioned that it would, there wouldn't be, I think we had talked about the pedestrian signal, because I think the wall was blocking it.
Yeah.
But we were able to make some changes with that. We asked DDC to make some, to shift it a bit. So why don't we regroup with DDC and get more information from them, Brendan? We can do that.
I'm good.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
All right, we'll move on the agenda. There's nothing else for Colleen. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, next up, Park Avenue Vision Project. Last month we heard from the project team at DOT on the Park Avenue medians. We left things, we had good feedback across the public and the committee. We left things that we wanted to see where CB5 landed on their requests and recommendations, given that it falls entirely within CB5. I attended their transportation committee meeting last week. Feedback was very similar to what was discussed in our meetings. There were some people in support of the bike lane, some people against the bike lane, the concept of the bike lane. There was concessions came up, which was something that did not come up in our meeting. So members of the public were asking for concessions in the space to activate the space and make it more lively throughout the time. The closing of the roadways came up that as we had discussed as well. There was some of the potentially closing some of those cross streets. Let's see if there's anything else worth highlighting.
Do you recall them mentioning, instead of having the bike lane on the median, actually having it in the roadway parallel to?
Yeah, I was gonna bring up, so there was a lot of feedback of concerning with sharing of the pedestrian space and the pedestrian space. I would say the prevailing theme was a desire to ensure that there was a maximal amount of pedestrian space and that the bike lane doesn't impede on the pedestrian space. So where they came out on recommendations for the bike lane was that they wanted to see the full-length pedestrian space that was proposed, and to request an additional traffic lane be repurposed for a bike lane that was completely separate from the median. So either on the side of the medians or closer to the sidewalks on the other ends. That basically they felt it would be, first of all, they wanted to prioritize ensuring that there was full pedestrian space, and yes, have separation between the bikes and the pedestrians. I see the hands, hold on. Just thinking if there's anything else. Generally, people like the designs. And yeah, I thought it was yeah, I'll take questions. Go ahead.
My question was about their response to the bike lane, so they would be okay with the bike lane being more meandering if they put it on the side of the, okay.
Yeah, potentially.
To clarify.
Yeah, I think
In my
their main ask was basically they wanted to see the full, what they didn't like about the original proposals was that the bike lane version removed pedestrian space.
Okay,
So the ask is basically, they want to have as much pedestrian space as possible, so the version without the bike lane,
right,
but then find space for a bike lane on Park Avenue.
okay.
Uh,
And they had no preference whether it was straight, like on the edge of the roadway, or if it meandered with the,
it suggested either of
Okay.
those solutions. And their resolution, which I basically took their resolution and I added two whereas clauses about why it makes sense for us to opine, given that it's in CB5 and that we did it that we write this in conjunction with CB5. It outlines it in there. And we'll bring that up in a minute. Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, my preference thought for the bike lane is to have a separate bike lane, but have it on the sides of the pedestrian space, fully raised to level with it, and with some sort of warning strip or something.
Some sort of what, sir?
Some sort of the
Rumble strips.
bumpy thing they put on curb cuts, have that there.
Yep.
Or something similar. And also to have water fountains in the space.
Yes, that was another thing that they had asked for, thank you for bringing that up. Water fountains, I don't think we discussed. Although it's a good suggestion.
Or drinking or decorative?
Oh, yeah,
drinking.
they discussed, need for restrooms, which I think, it is in the resolution, either on the plazas or finding a way to make them available near the plazas. other questions, yeah.
Just top of my head thought. Have we identified pops along that perimeter that could be allocated for things like restrooms? Because we know how they're often.
Yeah,
burned.
it came up, so that was, I guess, I think that was the ask in the resolution is. To potentially utilize partnerships with the existing surrounding partners to create restrooms. They did note though that there was. A lot of resistance from developers historically in the Park Avenue area to create public restrooms.
You know, there's also landmarking, you know, Lever House and, what, St. Bart's and, Seagram's Plaza. Those all are open places that would be logical, but they have the landmarks impediments.
So can we, Brendan, can you pull up the reso, mostly to pull up the whereas, at the bottom and the last two.
Which whereas,
Sorry, all the way at the end, the therefore. Be resolved. Sorry, yeah, perfect, actually right there, up, two more. So the whereas one more, okay, yeah, so basically, everything above this is CB5's resolution that they passed in their transportation committee. We'll be voting on this before that goes through their full board, but I think we can vote on this assuming it passes, their full board. Basically spelled out in the first one, this is entirely within CB5. But it makes sense for us to provide feedback on it because we have a seat on the East Midtown Public Realm Improvement Governing. Public Realm Improvement Fund Governing Group. And that we can't come to these recommendations in collaboration with them. And then, yeah, so what they're asking for specifically, therefore be it resolved, Brendan, if you could scroll down. So yeah, they outline closing some of the cross streets to some or all of the medians to create a seamless park, removing at least one vehicle parking or travel lane and using that space to provide fully separated bike lanes for bi-directional travel in either direction, adjacent to the curbs or the medians, while establishing physical separations from pedestrians, providing access to at least one bathroom on the medians or through nearby business owners or building owners and concessions. I know Barack had one amendment suggestion.
Friendly amendment.
Yes.
You can just go up a little bit, Brendan.
sure,
Just slightly up, yeah, they're removing at least one additional vehicle lane and use that space. You can add the word additional after one, if nobody objects.
Michael, yeah.
I like to add a preference for a median bike lane with a concrete separator.
You would add specifically about concrete or that you prefer that specifically?
I want to propose that it be either separated with a concrete curb or that it be raised.
Fully separated bike lane. Fully separated bike lane. Yeah, with a.
And you're looking for a different elevation, maybe.
Yeah, like raised to either the curb level or separated with a concrete curb.
So Brendan, elevated to the curb level there.
like that,
Or separated with concrete.
I may interject a downside to an elevated bike lane.
Yeah.
Is that the cars can park in it.
Yeah.
And then it creates this super awkward situation where the cyclists go off and they can't get back on. Just something to consider that elevated to curb level, you know, the way New York City does bike lanes can be very awkward.
I'm also maybe a little concerned with being specific here for separated with concrete in that parking may be more appropriate.
Right.
I would prefer to allow DOT to figure out the best solution. I would also expect we'll see updated designs
Mhm.
that we'll be able to potentially provide feedback on.
So maybe provide fully protected, separated bike lanes
Yeah.
and then let the
Yeah.
DOT geniuses come up with something.
Right, like instead of, yeah,
Yeah, that's my feeling as well.
between fully and separated on the same line, protected.
Fully separated.
Protected,
Protected.
Yeah, I think that works.
no, reverse those words, fully protected, separated bike lanes.
Protected end.
Yeah, okay, that's even better.
Is that work, Michael?
Yeah, that's fine.
Great, cool. Any other thoughts on the resolution? Do we have a motion?
Move.
Second. Third.
All right, then we'll take a vote.
Okay, when I call your name, please say whether you're in favor, opposed, abstain, or not entitled. Michael Cohen,
In favor.
Maya Donahue,
In favor.
Rock Friedman,
In favor.
Jason
In
Cromway,
favor?
John Lamoureux,
In favor.
Anna Picior,
In favor.
Marion Ruff,
In favor.
Larry Shire,
In favor.
and Jerry Weinstein.
In favor.
With all 9 committee members present voting in favor, this resolution passes.
Amazing. All right, moving on to the next agenda topic, we have discussion of expanding work hours for Kips Bay Water Main Project. ET 607. So last month, we heard from the project team, they gave us an update on the project. Project has been going on since 2020-ish. It's several years overdue. It's going to continue to be even more years overdue. One of the constraints that the project team had raised was that they're only allowed to do work on the weekends. And that is part of the reason why the project has been so delayed and that it could potentially be expedited by if they were permitted to do work Monday during some period during the week. I put together a reso requesting DOT considers allowing permitting the exception to take place during the week. It was distributed ahead of time. Also worth noting, we had a member of the community raising concerns that it's very disruptive. This project being very disruptive. And we have heard ongoing feedback at the port office about the disruptions and frustration of residents from this project and it being long overdue. Larry.
I sent you a proposal on the fourth whereas, as to revising, the language which currently reads, and the inability to perform work on weekdays. I propose changing that phrase to exacerbated by a prohibition against working on weekdays.
That works for me.
So delete the
Exacerbated.
current clause and change it to an. Yeah, I'll show it to you. Get exacerbated by. Prohibition against working on weekdays. Perfect. Thank you, Larry.
There's somebody on here from the team, I
I
understand?
did see.
Yes,
Okay. And I don't know,
yes.
Yeah, how you guys doing? My name is Robert. I'm the resident engineer of the project.
oh, hey, Robert, Barack here.
How's everyone doing?
Hey, good. And I support this resolution. I just, Robert, was hoping to get some clarification. If we do kind of go through with work on weekdays, the bus, the M15 is the busiest bus in the whole United States. So I was just kind of wondering if that, that first, Second Avenue bus, how that would be impacted, or the bike lanes. Would they still be able to pass the construction, or how would that work? Or would we have to divert them to Lexington or whatnot?
No, the bike lanes will maintain. We'll make sure we maintain it. We're maintaining it on First Avenue now, as we've been doing all of that work. So, there might be like, a little shift to a little further into the avenue, or a little further towards the sidewalk, but we'll maintain it. We always maintain it during the work. So we'll do the same on Second.
And the bus lane, is that, because can the bus still get through that, or no, that has to divert to Lex or whatnot?
No, there will never be a detour. If in some cases we might have to move a stop, but I don't think we'd have to do that in this situation.
Okay, thank you.
I think the issue that has always come up around here was illegal overroad bus parking during the anticipated afternoon rush hour buildup. They lay up oftentimes right at the bus lane, and that forces everything to squeeze.
In that area in particular?
Yes, especially there.
I mean, I'm sure we could work with DOT and MTA on that, should that happen.
And it's the police department who needs to issue the MTA tickets.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on the resolution?
I'll move it.
Second, any further discussion?
Second,
All right, let's go to vote.
Okay, when I call your name, please say whether you are in favor, opposed, abstain, or not entitled. Michael Cohen,
in favor.
Mike Donahue,
In favor.
Rod
In
Friedman,
favor.
Jason Tromowitz,
Favor?
Sean Lamoureux,
In favor.
Anna Pizzior,
In favor.
Marion Ruff,
In favor.
Larry Shire,
In favor.
and Jerry Weinstein.
In favor.
All 9 committee members present in favor, this resolution passes.
Right. All right, moving on to the next item on the agenda. Discussion of Community Board 6's street co-naming criteria. This was on the agenda last month, we didn't get to it, given the long meeting, so we'll discuss it now. I wrote up a reso, Brendan, can you bring that up? Yes, so basically, we've had a number of street co-naming requests in the last couple years. Basically in reviewing many of those, they have, I think there's been a feedback that has been shared with me, that it would have been a preference, I think, for many of the co-namings that we've had, that we not have had, that those maybe, some of them maybe should not have met the criteria for co-namings, and that we should revisit looking at a more stringent criteria for co-namings. I attempted to I think address those concerns in this updated policy. Primarily, so I would say there's a couple main themes. One was I think we're requiring a bit more like substantiated evidence for some of the requirements that we had in our previous policy, as well as avoiding some topics that have come up kind of frequently, primarily around political matters of international politics. Basically, my suggestion here is that we avoid that entirely, and that we don't consider taking a statement on international policies. Basically, the theme is making this a bit more stringent, ensuring that it ties to people who've impacted the community. Also specifically added the requirement of a petition. We have kind of historically expected a petition, but not explicitly required it. So this formalizes that. And then lastly, there was the old policy, there was a conflict between our old policy and the website's sort of guidelines that it should be in collaboration with that exactly how the council members should be involved. This it establishes that, you know, our review would take place prior to the council members' review, and basically we would take a first pass, and it basically removes that requirement that the initial feedback is that for the councilperson to review initially. Yes.
I think there might be instances in which starting with the council member would actually narrow it down for us.
Yes.
If the effort is to streamline and.
So that's an option. I guess one thing that I thought was problematic with our old policy was it just sort of like, it wasn't clear, if we were expecting their approval or thoughts on it. It's just that they should be sort of notified. It wasn't really clear what value that brought to the table. I guess my concern in requiring that as a first step, is, I think we often provide, I'm not sure why this is special for other things that we do.
Yep.
But like, we don't, for example, on the Park Avenue medians, like wait to hear what the city council person's.
I think it's because they have to specifically pass the co-naming into law.
Yeah, ultimately, which is worth calling out, that, yeah, it's ultimately, for it to come through, it would have to be passed through city council, yeah.
Is there a best practice at like CB5, or I'm trying to think of the most analogous community board in terms of getting kind of requests that may be national, international, that sort of scope? Is there a board that has like or the borough president or DOT, like, is there a preferred path from anyone that
I think,
we're aware of?
I'm not aware of.
Okay, yeah, no.
Other boards having this,
Maybe it'll be us.
I think it's sort of unique to us,
Yeah.
given the UN,
Of course.
Brendan.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have an answer to Anna's question specifically. But in terms of the council member piece, often, not always, because there have even been times when council members have just sort of gone ahead with street co-naming independent of the community board. But oftentimes, council members ask us for our position and don't want to proceed on street co-naming without hearing from us first. So just something to consider.
Yeah, and I think this open to debate, on that. I think, it would be potentially appropriate for us to keep that as it's there. My personal view is it removes a little bit of like bureaucracy and creates a little bit more of a clear process by saying, okay, first we're gonna review, and then we're gonna make a recommendation, then the council member will then be passed down to the council member. They'll make their own, review and assessment. So I think creates a bit more of a streamlined and clear process without adding sort of vague steps of bureaucracy. Yes, go ahead.
And given the lack of context and information on a street sign, unless the street co-naming relates to a very famous person or physical place, it really doesn't serve very much purpose except to satisfy the personal gratification of those who are proposing it. And it could also include naming a local political leader who in a generation or so will be totally forgotten, and it really doesn't serve much purpose. But that could be served and I've mentioned this previously outside of this context, by having a plaque on a private building, which would explain who this person was and what they were in connection with the neighborhood, to educate the community and to keep that person or that place or former place's memory alive. I very strongly favor that. But the co-naming, unless it's really something that that people will recognize and then locate to the spot, doesn't really serve very much purpose whatsoever.
Is that just thoughts? How does it tie in?
Those are my thoughts, and I'm generally opposed to having co-namings, except in the situation where the public will be able to locate, like we were talking about the draft riots. For this is a place that it originated. In other words, there'll be a general knowledge and there'll be a benefit to locating something. Pix Plaza, which has been the headquarters of a famous television station since early days of TV, also fits that criteria. And I can't think of a lot of what was it, the person related to the United Nations and having a place at the foot of the staircase, and it's right there by the UN. That, again, we're talking about identifying a place, a location, a corner. And that should be the main criteria, that there's a very strong public interest in it.
Michael?
I think like the street corner, I mean, I think what really could work with some of them. And what, I mean, I'd really like if there was an alternative to them, or something that could be added, like a small plaque on the street pole, like who someone was. Like plaque of like, you know, like you see on historic buildings, or you see on some other places in town.
Historic markers that we used to
Like
have.
historic markers on the street lights.
Is that in replacement of co-namings that you both
Well,
requested?
I'm suggesting that for much of what people are offering co-namings for, this would serve the purpose much better. But it's not a street sign where you have the street number, which is potentially distracting and confusing.
I was gonna suggest possibly that fits in as a complement to the program, like as a part of the signs, that there's also like a plaque that explains the co-naming or the significance of the co-naming. I think that's outside, so I think both of your feedback's valid.
In other words, you know, one of the first famous co-namings is Times Square. What used to be Longacre Square, but it became Times Square because the newspaper had its headquarters there.
What was Longacre Square?
That's right.
What was Longacres?
I don't know, but that's what they named the little triangles, okay? It was a geographic, it was a, you know, a significant geographic place. And Verde Square we have up in the seventies, and all of these things along Broadway. Union Square, Madison Square, Harold and Greeley Square. Harold and Greeley were also newspapers. But, you know, and well recognized. And
Yeah.
This is where their headquarters were.
Right.
But we had one recently, you know, with tugged at the heartstrings, and I'm not entirely sure that ought to be the kind of criteria that we would follow in the future.
Yeah, and I don't think this is necessarily, I think this is an attempt to address that, is that, it requires a little bit, more of a stringent, set of criteria that, yeah, while that was, I think I know which one you're referring to, was pulled at the heartstrings, and I think a number of the ones we've done recently, they were certainly, you know, notable individuals, but, you know, when I think they kind of loosely met our criteria before, and I think this would make it potentially harder for some of those to have made it through, and to require a bit of a higher standard of significance from the individuals we're naming after. I think in terms of like co-namings in general, I mean, I guess that's I think what you were both asking for is maybe something that's outside the scope of this resolution, which is like changes, reforms to the street co-naming policy and procedures across the city. I think like this is specifically like within the confines of what the city council does today for street co-namings. I'm open, I suggest, I think maybe you could say we should not vote on this at all because we don't want to take a position on co-namings.
I propose continuing the discussion and try to, you did a great start there, but I'm suggesting being more restrictive and maybe encouraging the city council consider that high visibility, high profile street co-namings be the rule rather than the exception, because it just naming every corner more or less dilutes the importance of a co-naming.
So you're saying that this should be more strict, you would like to see this being
A lot more stringent.
Okay, that's not what the feedback I was taking away, but that's fine. What would you, is there anything specific you would wanna see?
Well, the things I was describing.
That like
That,
is easily
these- a
recognizable?
a famous person or place, with the location of which should be easily spotted because it's on the street sign. And people look at the street sign to orient themselves, and that's the purpose. It
Okay.
doesn't give you the history. If you wanna give the history, you put in a plaque. You wanna put in, a recognition of an event or a person, who lived in the neighborhood, who made a significant contribution to the community. I'm all in favor of that. But up where you have, Second Avenue and, 43rd Street, that really is, a part of wayfinding. And, unless it's of great utility to a large number of people, it doesn't deserve a street name.
I see, so basically what you're suggesting is we shouldn't have like honorary co-naming, you're saying that the co-naming should only exist under the, like, as a part of wayfinding.
In other words, if you wanna locate the Theodore Roosevelt House.
Yeah,
You could name the
Right.
corner where that is, for, Roosevelt, because that, serves that purpose. It's a National Historic Site.
got it, okay, noted, we could talk about that as we get in further, if we vote on this, Matt.
I'm in favor of this resolution, but I think the more I was listening to you guys discuss, I'm not in favor of the language of where we're talking about we need it to be super stringent and it's only the most famous people, because I think we're missing out on the element of the community. I'm in favor of making it more strict as far as like providing more evidence of community broad support, which we haven't seen in some of the other ones. But I do think we cannot exclude people who do make very hyper localized community sport. Teddy Roosevelt is a American president, did a lot for the country and a lot of different things, but what did he do for that specific street? He was born there. He grew up further north in Manhattan, like
No, he grew up there
upstate.
in that
It's not
location.
even that original house. That house was
No, that was
torn down and they were
replaced, that's correct.
rebuilt after he died.
Roosevelt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
By his relatives. And so my point being though, is that like, while we can still honor those people and we live in Midtown Manhattan and we will have those people and that's the privilege of living where we live. But also we have a lot of everyday people and that also makes up a lot of the community. And I don't want to see different iteration of this where it really starts to exclude that as well.
I agree with Maya, I think, personally,
We're also gonna run out of corners.
Well, I think that's gonna happen in the history of time. In like 1,000 years, New York City still being here, all the streets are going to be co-named.
And we'd have to make a hard choice between a famous person who has a college named after them nearby and somebody who founded a community center that will be forgotten if we don't have the code name. I mean,
Michael?
I think for wise, like, I like the screening criteria, for. The first one, making a political statement, commenting on the foreign government and foreign policy, and relying solely on a connection to the United Nations. I think it's wise to ensure that. Honestly, that the co-namings are not used for political purposes. That they're not used to express a political view or something, and that they're used solely to recognize organizations or individuals that made an impact in that community. And whose impact was benefit the lives of residents in the community or the wider world in a way.
So I think let's do this, let's informally vote if we want to explore specific criteria, not necessarily what was outlined here, but continuing discussing criteria like this, or if we want to take another approach.
Jason, let me
Yes.
just address what's on the screen here. I support this particular part. I was speaking more broadly
Yes.
about the co-namings.
Yes,
But
Yes,
I'm on
yes.
board with what you wrote there.
But Larry, if I understand it correctly, you're proposing like we don't move forward with this policy and we instead move forward with a policy that's more.
No, I don't disagree with what you wrote there.
The whole thing. Or that specific section.
Well, we're looking at that specific section.
Yes.
I'm 100%
Okay.
on board with that.
Got it.
You wanna go to the next section, I can say I'm 100% on board with that.
Well, yeah, so I was gonna suggest we go through each section, but it sounded like, Larry, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, that you're opposed to this approach to street co-namings and that like you wanted to see us.
No,
Like, more broadly take a different
No,
view.
I was trying to highlight a difference in approach that Maya and Anna have to the way I look at it. And seek to avoid in this resolution flagging that as a point of contention.
Okay,
I think the resolution can be very useful,
okay,
but if we avoid this potential point of friction, that might get us to unanimity.
got it. Okay, all right, so yeah, so let's go through each of this. I think there's a couple things probably worth highlighting in each. So yeah, effectively, first section here is establishing the community nexus, so that basically there's a direct tie to CD6 and basically that the connections established through either residency, employment, business ownership, organizational leadership, state community involvement, proposed block. Brendan, can you look at the comment was there?
Probably from Jesus.
Yeah, 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 so I guess it's still a little bit vague, from Jesus's feedback. We could make that more specific if we so chose. We could, but yeah,
I was reading it as like, maybe they lived on this block, like they were doing like really good work on the former 30th Street shelter, but they lived on 50th Street. And we wanted to do it on 50th Street where they lived.
yeah.
That's how I was reading it, but maybe it is unclear for like multiple viewpoints.
That was how I intended it, that like, yeah, there'd be some flexibility that it might not be the exact street that there might be a good reason for it to be on X Street as opposed to Y Street, but
Maybe
then,
there's already a name on that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good reason as well, I think.
Question.
yes.
It says the site of an incident. So they can't have it because I don't understand what that means. What do you mean by that?
A historical event,
Yeah, an event.
like Nathan Hale got hanged there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that seems relevant and appropriate, no?
What's that?
That seems important, no? That something happened there.
That you ought to use that corner.
Yeah, so I feel like that an incident occurred there is relevant, is important.
Yeah.
And my
That
point
might
is that
be
it's of
something.
interest, what I'd like
see.
to add is that it's of interest in the general
Right,
public.
so there's actually a carve out specific, the next sentence is that
You're
like,
saying
we
it's-
won't name the block just because an incident occurred there, yeah, perhaps, and so
But we will consider that it's of general interest to the public or of interest to the general public.
I think you're right that we should take it up.
Wait. But I think I understand why you put it in there originally.
I guess the intent was that like, there should be something notable about,
Like if that incident, like if it was a death, how does that impact the community broadly?
yeah, like the
Like the draft riots. or
right,
something.
that should be like significant in itself, not just that like a car accident happened there, for
Right.
example, like that there was something particularly notable about that car
Can we just
accident.
do like unless it has whatever you said, broader community district 6 community,
Well, I just split the sentence.
yeah,
Unless, comma, the rest.
oh, there you go, yeah.
So how would this be worded again?
Take the second clause, unless they also independently meet the community nexus standard, honorees shall not blah blah.
Yeah.
Just flip the second. Because otherwise it's easy to miss
Right,
and focus on like, nope.
yes,
Well, maybe the word I'm coming up with right at the moment is, it needs to have an elevated importance. Because, you know,
I think-
every human being has inherent worth
Yeah.
and we could honor all of,
Right.
the, district individually with a name on a street sign.
Do you think the new wording clarifies that?
All right, but tell me what it is in the,
Unless, it's just unless right after the yellow section.
must they also independently. Like what?
That's what we just established about the community nexus standard.
So basically, like, the honoree has to have significance and tied to the community.
Right.
Beyond just that some
The
incident
event
happened there.
Can we insert the word elevated, community, nexus? In other words, it's more than just being an important person, to the people who they affected, but it's elevated to the point that you want to put it up on the road sign and, you know, and blast this out to the whole
But
world.
I think that's established in the
Yeah.
community nexus. part.
It's basically like referring to above, meet the above community nexus thing.
And that is
Yeah,
gobbledygook.
if we wanna
to
give
me.
it
What if
to
you
Larry,
say
put
clear,
in
direct,
this
and
elevated
elevated
connection.
connection, exactly, at the top line.
second sentence.
Yeah,
Okay,
A
so,
clear and elevated connection instead of
well,
direct.
you have clear and direct,
Yeah,
or
just
like,
elevated.
keep direct, so we did clear,
Thank you for.
wait,
Elevated needs to come before.
no,
that.
I thought we were saying at the top.
Yeah, in the first sentence.
Yeah.
so the.
Yeah, clear,
Let's have an elevated, clear and
yeah.
connection.
That's fine.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
works.
Direct doesn't really.
Yeah.
It's implied.
And that suggests that this is a more important person than somebody of, you know, of great, moral character.
Mhm.
And so if like a terrorist attack on the West Side Greenway where a few cyclists were killed or pedestrians. So according to this, we couldn't name something after them? That
I think, yes, that
no,
is what we
couldn't
we wouldn't be
name
able to.
something
Correct.
after that. Or if somebody Hamilton had a duel. 34th and 3rd.
No,
that would because
be elevated.
That's an incident.
But I
No,
think
it would be
but if
elevated.
Hamilton was killed there, Hamilton was presumably
A
had a,
major public figure.
yeah, so he had a significant impact on assuming he did, then it would make sense, but like, yes, to your point,
I want a visual of this.
just if there was like any duel there, then it wouldn't be
Right.
Or maybe it was the place where 1,000 duels were. Then we call it dueling square.
Many stupid men died here.
Yes, the sight of an incident in itself can elevate people.
Do not.
23rd and 2nd, where many drivers caused pedestrians to die.
I
think we're getting off top.
Yes.
Getting that next, right?
So you would still want it to come up?
Just give some examples of incidents that would not meet. Like, what are we trying to exclude here when we say the site of an incident? What's an example, a couple examples I think we're trying to include, just so I understand
The
better.
multifactorial decision that a single incident, event, death is not any guarantee, and we don't want, you know.
Well, just give
walks
a couple
around
examples.
things.
I think,
What are you thinking? What are we trying to exclude?
Is it really necessary to have that unless sentence? I think we're fine.
I think we could potentially remove it.
Yeah, I think we're fine up until
think we need to
the
keep it, or
end
you
of the
think we
yellow.
Keep it, I mean, that's the whole reason why we're reevaluating this, isn't it?
What are you thinking? What are you trying to exclude by the incident?
Well, I mean,
It's not
the whole
clear.
preface of, well, yeah, this the whole preface of why we started this resolution was because we were reflecting at the last several co-namings we did.
But like, what's an incident that you're trying to exclude?
I'll
I'm just trying to understand what your concern is.
I'll take it. So I think we recently passed the co-naming for, I'm sorry, I don't remember the
Yes.
individual's name. We approved the co-naming in the 20s for a woman who was murdered on the block. was the incident, that she was murdered there.
And how many murders are there in the course of the year?
But
She
they
did,
were also an active member of the community.
right.
Yeah,
So
so.
that is the
And we're
deciding
trying to
factor.
decide,
And so what, basically what this is trying to say is that like, if for that co-naming to happen, that we would have to establish both that that person had a notable impact on the community and not just because they were murdered there. Is that enough to establish that,
Well,
that this is,
and that's a perfect example of, a plaque that could be placed, you know, at the apartment building where she lived. That, would inform, because nobody knows who she is just by the name.
Yes.
But that's talking about the death. Now we're not, so that the death takes care of that. This is a site of an incident. So if somebody kind of does something heroic on a block in our neighborhood. That's not enough. That's just the site of
Yes.
an incident.
Yes.
That's not enough.
For kids in a burning
Correct.
building, you don't get a street name. But if
Uh,
you are a sustained member of the community and you run in for the children.
I,
get a street
that is what this is saying.
That's what it's saying.
Maybe.
that seems like a valid reason for a name, right?
can we
You
change?
ran in, you saved some kids.
Can we change the
I don't know.
last clause that says do not satisfy this requirement, can say like, we'll like have to undergo like additional review by the chair?
I think we could remove the whole statement.
I move to remove that sentence.
I think we should remove it, personally. But you you vote.
I mean, I still feel like their issue is still in whatever we have left as well, because like, what if somebody
Right,
sees
that's
someone from
true.
the burning building next door, they're still not
Right,
community
right,
resident.
Right,
that they
even
can
if we remove that,
participate in.
what that point stands, to your point. Like, given this criteria, to your point about the someone,
Superseded by the
Right.
lack of.
By the lack
Are-
of
are-
community connection.
We had what, Mother Cabrini before,
So,
and we went through the whole thing there, and, you know, she lives elsewhere.
Well, I think Brock's point is a good one, but what if we just change the last clause where it's like it has to undergo additional review
I think,
by the
I
chair?
think it puts too much pressure on the chair because
right,
the chair's not gonna be able to say no
Sure.
to this heart wrenching situation.
So then you have an issue with the whole community nexus then, no?
I just had an issue with the word incident, because the
incident.
incident sounds like something really important is happening there. And
Right.
maybe they should be honored, I'm just saying that,
But-
I don't know.
I don't see how that's like still not conflicted by the community nexus paragraph as it is now.
right, so even if we
That's
don't
what
have,
I'm
even if we take that out and we take this as as you laid out, to your point, if I ran into a burning building and saved somebody, you would still be having to consider.
You have the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory tragedy, okay?
I'm not familiar with it, but go
I
ahead.
mean,
Yeah,
the private
it's like
company
100 years
starts
ago.
with-
Labor.
100 years,
There was
yeah.
a labor.
Women's labor too.
they got locked in.
There were
Where
hundreds
we
of
have fire
women
exits.
who had died.
We'll have to, I'm going to,
We'll go look at the memorial.
prevent all further discussions on historical events for the pictures of expediently reviewing this decision.
We're gonna have to get you some Howard Zinn books. I think this protects you, just the layer of granularity, and we still have the discretion to say, well, there's A, B, and C instead of just C.
And here it says the connection may be established through these various means, but it doesn't necessarily exclude other means.
Cause there will be instances where
Right,
we feel
okay.
it's incumbent.
Well, and I mean, I was
But
reading
does
for
that
this,
still put
thinking
pressure on the
about
chair
the
to
show.
decide what is the?
I don't think any of this is for the chair necessarily
And
to,
that we're inherently, we're standing up for human rights. I mean, let's say Khashoggi, not only is there the embassy, but say he lived here, because they know he lived in the city some of the time, not to see. But I would wanna think along the lines of how would we have Khashoggi part of this?
But if he did something in the community.
Yeah, no, I'm in agreement.
In other words,
But I was
that's a
looking
little
for that,
extra.
Because the word political like jarred me. earlier.
that's different, we're getting off topic of
No,
different
you know,
criteria.
there's a real history in our community board of how we had certain people come here who wanted to have a co-naming in order to like stick a
Yes.
That's sticking somebody's eye.
That's another criteria, so I wanna keep us pointed on this one.
I'm okay with how this is worded.
Yes, and to the point about the chair,
This is much improved.
I think this is good, but I know you still object.
No, if that's what the committee wants, I don't feel that strongly about it. I just
Okay.
wanted to make sure that we were all clear.
Okay, great, now let's move on to number two, sustained contributions, okay, so if you're citing, basically, if you're citing sustained contributions to the community, you need some documentation for that, which would include either letters of support, or specific awards. Again, I think unfortunately this ties back to.
How about articles from a newspaper?
It's in there.
Versus
It
online?
has news coverage.
Yeah, news coverage, published accounts. So I think what we saw in that incident in the rename, our most recent renaming, that there was sort of a lack of documentation to support their contributions, and this is requiring that there's more evidence to support.
More than just a tweet.
Yes, yeah, indeed.
There were New York Times articles about it, but
Well, it was about, not necessarily, I think about the
The
incident, but not about the honorees.
Right.
One of the reasons that they cited for the naming was that individual volunteered at the Bowery Mission. But I thought it was unclear exactly what their contribution was.
Right, like we had a letter from whoever's running a volunteer corps at the.
Yeah, that
foundation.
talked about like that they had sustained
Right,
contributions.
and
to
it shows at the very beginning that a very promising life, and that was snuffed out,
Yes,
rather than this was a life of good works,
yes.
which might have made it a stronger case.
Okay, great, moving on, posthumous, so basically, we're not gonna recognize anybody who's living. And I laid out 10 years after, no more than 10 years after their death. So between the time they died and 10 years, I made that up, I'm open to other numbers.
I worry about people who are like marginalized that then get recognized.
I think.
Like there will be
yes.
times where we're gonna regret a name and swap it out for somebody, you know what I mean, like there's.
Give an example, for example, I don't know.
We renamed the Staten Island ferries, we wanna rename, things that are named after Jackson, like I think there are things, there are instances where we may regret a street naming and wanna do the flip opposite, and that has been done in the past, or you never would name something after Audre Lorde, now suddenly everything on Staten Island is able to be named it, but like she's been gone for some time, and I wanna reserve the right to recognize people who were erased from history in the past.
So yeah, it's attempts to solve that, but I don't know if it fully does, to your point. Second sentence is that we may grant exceptions
Extraordinary
for certain circumstances or recent discovery. So yeah, I guess something would have had to
It's
happen.
a little hammered, it's like
Yeah.
a little limited, but if we think the extraordinary is flexible, that's fine.
Yeah, I think it's a good concern, but I think it addresses it.
Okay.
Works for me.
Michael.
I think would be a good idea, but like, I wonder why no more than 10 years, like. Seems like a rather arbitrary limit, it's like,
Yes, I acknowledge it's arbitrary.
the thing is like. 10 years is a short time, is not a long time after a person's death. Could be like 20 years, 30 years,
Sure.
or,
I don't have strong.
Well, I think there's the extraordinary, because I think about how a number of people knew about Bayard Rustin, but the majority. of the public
No
didn't.
more specific historical
Well,
discussion.
decades really lapsed in this case where like the organizer for Martin Luther King was erased from history and then restored. So.
Right, and what is the justification for the 2 and 10 years? Because I'd rather
It's
take that off,
arbitrary.
and, because it just seems arbitrary.
That's what he's been saying.
Right, that's what I'm saying, it was truly arbitrary,
And I don't think it's necessary to.
I guess
Specify,
what-
I mean, the idea that a living president puts his face on the currency, is the opposite of,
So,
recognizing a posthumous, you know, a post-death president.
the reason for this is for an application that we never ended up hearing because they withdrew the application, but recently we had an application for individual that founded a nonprofit. And they had died in like 40 years ago. And it was just sort of like, why is that relevant? Why is this relevant today? Why are we renaming this street for them today? It was.
Well, but you don't have to rename it just because they asked.
Yes,
So
yes,
that's the criteria of extraordinary in your mind.
yeah. Good.
I am not opposed to removing the 10, but I do like the 2 as a minimum floor because I think it gives people who are grieving time to like, maybe they see this as an opportunity for them to like seek relief in that grief. And I think 2 years gives them a little bit of perspective, to see like, is this the right avenue that I really want to go down? Like to seek like those kinds of,
So that's
Creating
fine with me.
separation.
If I have to,
Right.
if I have to wait 2 years to reapply to come to the community board, I'm going through grief. I'm going through grief for those 2 years.
Okay, great. So then let's remove and no later than 10 years.
If people are comfortable with the caveat in the second sentence, I can be overruled on that.
No, I made it up, so I think it's fine.
So then delete the
So then
second
delete that
sentence.
sentence? Cause you already did exception? Or
Well-
giving that exception in case it, we, like somebody extraordinary passes and you wanna do it like 6 months later?
I think we should get rid of it.
oh,
Oh, so I'm
really? I
not-
liked it, cause I liked.
I'm
how
not,
it-
I'm not
it-
sure you should get rid of that because of what Anna was saying, that if something comes to mind through some research and a person that we didn't know about before, or we didn't recognize in their lifetime.
Well, we could still do that because we're no longer having.
10, it was more the recent.
So basically, we would potentially, that sentence would allow us to allow for something within the 2 years time span.
Right. Yeah, cause
I
I liked
understand.
the second sentence, cause I think it shows that we're acknowledging what Anna was talking about. Like when other members of the public are reading this.
But why is that still relevant and necessary if
The
it's,
second sentence.
such as recent discovery of?
Yeah, I personally like it there because it's showing the public that like we've thought about that as well. And so when they're like looking to apply, like,
Maybe we need to be rephrased as like the board may, yeah, but see, the requirement is no longer relating to.
Yeah, so I think that would only be that we would allow for it in that 2 year window, which I
Yeah.
think would I don't know if we want to grant exception to that, to your point of, like, it's good to allow the sort of like.
yeah,
ones to
I just
feel-
like the
Right,
last clause
maybe
of the
the-
sentence more than the extraordinary circumstances.
Like the board
exception.
recognizes where they're able to be.
But it's-
There may be circumstances that had not
Justify
been,
it.
previously, recognized, but on the receipt of,
But I think you're right, yeah, if it's outside of the, yeah, I'm fine with getting rid of it. They can watch the YouTube.
Great, okay, we'll remove it. Okay, great,
We're good with the two.
yeah, 2 years, I think sounds reasonable, yeah. Do you already post?
my.
No, do we have any wiggle room if we were told, or would we need, what would it entail if for some reason something fell that was enormously important or something, would we be in violation, like?
No,
would
they just bring it to our attention and we'd consider it.
Well, no, we
Is
would
there
be.
any squishy?
I think we wouldn't even bring it to the committee.
Right.
If it's, someone would send an application and we would go back and say like, sorry, this was within 2 years, it's outside of our criteria, we won't be discussing. I guess
It's not right.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oof.
Brenda.
Also, sorry to maybe throw in another wrench and complicating factor, but looking at this again, I just thought, wait a second. I'm not sure if this section about eligibility criteria really addresses organizations, and we do receive requests from organizations to also get street funding.
This entire the community nexus and the sustained contributions, or both?
Well, the eligibility criteria, yeah.
I think it does,
Well,
Sustained
I
community
think you're
involvement,
assuming
there
that
you
the honoree is a person.
No.
no, I
Same
think,
if you went under like the 90s, whatever street YMCA.
Maybe you say person, place, or thing.
an honoree, I think, was intended to avoid it being a person, an honoree could potentially be an organization.
Yeah, I think sustained community involvement.
That organization being a thing.
I would do the proposed honoree or organization.
It's fine.
That's fine, sure. Yeah,
Instead of creating a whole new
Sure.
category.
yeah, okay, great.
Mhm.
Thanks, Brendan.
And what about a thing? Such as, this is where a draft riot, originated.
Oh, like an event.
Yeah, a thing.
This isn't a legal contract. We don't have to carve out like all possible
But I
scenarios.
wanna leave in there the suggestion that is, that it's broad enough to include that.
Does the event have a sustained legacy? And yeah, I.
Triangle.
Yeah, it resonates to today because there's an annual, commemoration.
Brendan,
We just had it.
Sorry to keep on being a stickler about the organization piece, but does this mean that the organization needs to no longer exist? Or,
no, I think that would just only apply for
For
individuals.
honorees,
Okay,
we separated it
just-
out, yeah.
Right, and you've called out honorees, so
Yeah.
good.
okay,
Yeah, individual.
Yeah.
thank you for indulging me.
No, no,
on my nitpickiness.
Okay, moving on.
Or human honorees.
Dog.
I think in the first part you said honorees and organizations.
It implies human.
Yeah, I agree. Yes, okay, great, moving on to two, so, okay, these are specific things that we are like not going to recognize for, so first, making political statement. Or serve as a form of protest, demonstration, or political expression directed at any,
I think
Government
we
institution or
went over
anything.
this earlier,
Good, yeah.
and we all agreed on it.
okay, yes, great, then we'll move on. International diplomacy, are we gonna solve the entire section?
Yeah, we're accepting section two.
Okay, great. Basically, this is eliminating all political things, the Kipchoge one. We could argue whether or not that was a good idea or not, but effectively that would have been eliminated under this criteria.
I didn't know that this sign ever went up.
That's sort of the problem with all of these is that often they don't end up going up.
Okay.
So, yes.
I looked for it.
Well, okay, so that's like sort of the whole history here is that ultimately the council member has to pass legislation. And then the city council has to entirely pass legislation to allow for the co-naming. So once we make a recommendation, it like then maybe goes to the city council person.
It's a legislative act.
Yeah. So I don't think, I'm not sure if it ever made it through city council. I don't know if it did. Okay, petition. Okay, so we've sort of vaguely asked for a petition in the past, but we didn't have specific criteria. It wasn't a specific stated requirement. So this is specifically outlining a specific requirement for a petition. So we're saying there should be a petition that's submitted. Everybody must have a petition. In terms of number of signatures, I left that vague, and I was gonna say a significant number of individuals represented, basically individuals or representatives of businesses located on the block. Has this provided feedback that it was vague? Is intentionally vague. My thinking there is that like some blocks have only a few townhouses on it. Some blocks have gigantic apartment buildings, so to require 50 signatures on a block with 1,000 residents would be too little. To require 50 on a block that's the entire block might be too many. I wanted to leave it vague, but I'm open to being.
Jason, does it help you to have the language a significant number? How about not specifying that phrase? And you're still, as the chair, exercising your discretion in the way you just described it. This is a small block. There aren't a lot of people who are potentially gonna sign a petition.
I think it's better to leave significant in, because then you're specifically giving the chair the opportunity to use that judgment, where if you just say like petition has a petition signed with people who live on the block, then it comes to the chair, and the chair's gonna say, okay, yes, there's 2 signatures on here, and so technically it meets this criteria. Without requiring that.
But you're still gonna have to explain yourself.
Yes, but at least it gives you the opportunity to justify why you're turning something away, because you could say that you deem that it's not a significant enough amount of signatures, rather than being forced to push something forward because it has any amount of signatures.
To me, it doesn't really have any meaning unless you put in criteria like we earlier had, well, the 2 years versus 10 years. No, if there's no quantitative
Yeah,
a bracket, these are just vague.
I'm open to putting a number there. I think
No, I'm not asking you to put a number.
I'd prefer to put a number rather than not. I think we need some way to indicate that it has to be
All I'm
a
suggesting.
notable number.
All I'm suggesting is before we get into that trap, take out the phrase and must be signed by individuals, authorized representatives, and
But that would be like one signature, a petition with one signature meets this criteria.
all right, but you're saying located on that block. What about me? And I'm living across the district, but I think it's important and I sign my name to the petition. I don't count.
Correct, according to this.
I don't like.
I think the idea behind it is that these are people who already have a presence and live on that block. You should have the support of the block, that the block is going to be renamed. There should be like a substantial support on the block, that the block becomes.
Well, it's not the
Takes on
whole
that
block. It's just the corner. It's where the street sign is.
Yes, but I think it represents the block.
We could go with vicinity.
Vicinity, sure, but then that would mean, no, I don't like
A
vicinity.
number of signatures within the vicinity.
Yeah,
Well, I
like-
was actually thinking something along the lines of, a successful petition will reflect, support by authorized representatives that are located in the area, something that basically says you're demonstrating that you have buy-in by the local community.
But the local community, I'm open to this,
You're
to
saying
removing
high
this.
score.
Yeah, I think the specific idea was that like the people with a presence on that corner, on that block, and the immediate nexus to that sign want it and are not opposed to it. That like you avoid renaming a block that the immediate community.
Well,
objects to.
maybe you need
We're unaware.
to recast it as that significant number of people don't object to it on the block.
How do you prove that?
Demonstrate that?
Yeah, counterfactual part. Always.
What if
That's what I think
instead
you're
of
getting
block,
at.
we said intersection?
No, but my point is that you're trying to demonstrate something. In other words, a groundswell of support. What if there's divided? What if there are people who think that the person was a rotten bastard?
Well, then obviously I think that comes in the
So-
committee discussion where
so a
like
little-
people might come and say, we don't want
I
it.
almost think that the reframe is the petitioners must demonstrate support from the local vicinity rather than the petition an inanimate object.
Yeah, you're right.
That they do the work and show us.
How do you do that without that?
Well, by
without-
emphasizing petitioners must do the following to satisfy us. Rather than a petition and then these kind of.
How would you expect them to do that in the absence
Of
in a
petitioner
quantitative way?
Shall submit, support signatures reflecting support from the immediate community.
On the other hand, you have somebody, that is unearthed by a historian. And there's an event that was not previously known. And the reason for recognizing this event and placing it there has nothing to do with a contemporary groundswell of interest in the person. But you think that we as a community board ought to recognize something
I
that,
think we become the petitioner then.
well, in a way, that's what we are when we pass our resolution.
Yes. Okay, so we don't like the idea of a petition?
I was just figuring this.
It's an option.
Reframe.
It's an option, not a requirement. It's
Well,
one
that's,
way
that's
that-
what we have
it's
today.
One way that I don't think there's anything wrong with what we have today. It's not to me, it's not the manner in which the person or the thing or the organization comes to our attention. It's the quality of the application that we're concerned with, and that they don't waste our time.
But my understanding in the broader, not just our committee, but I guess broader community board review of these is that, there's been a desire to ensure that there's enough demonstrated support for a co-naming of the.
Well, that's your chair discretion, whether you wanna, submit it at executive, is what we wanna put
Yeah,
on the agenda, and then you have
right,
that,
right, then we
you have that, you're not alone, you have the other people, in senior leadership say, yeah, we agree that this merits the discussion by the committee.
Yeah, I think, we could remove it. I think it provides some legwork required from the petitioner, and that like that it, not like that it's unnecessary work, but that it requires them to, you know,
Well,
canvass, to talk to the
Listen,
community.
you make a decision whether it reaches a threshold that they've done some, well, at least some legwork that makes it catch your attention.
Go ahead, Brett.
Yeah, I was just gonna add some additional context here, which is that, I can't speak for anyone on the committee, but I've certainly heard concerns that a couple of our past co-namings didn't really have that much in the way of interest in the immediate community. So I think that's somewhat of the background for this.
You can always ask for more. In other words, before I bring it to the board, before I bring it to the committee, can you give me more? And you've asked for it as well, and you can continue.
So
It doesn't have to
you
be
support the petition, just not requiring any specific.
I don't
number.
even think we need a petition. We just need to have some impetus. If it's something that's well-known, you don't really need a petition.
Yeah.
I like the idea of the petition. I was gonna say that what we're discussing, it kind of counteracts what we have been discussing in other sections where we're now putting a lot of decision-making on the chair, which we in the other section decided we didn't want to do that. And so I think now we're putting a lot of conflicting things within the same reso if we're going to go that direction. But I like the petition. I agree that it's nice to see demonstrated community support and have the people, I think it's in the same tenor as having the 2-year floor of like showing that they really are dedicated to wanting this coming.
Let's take a vote.
Who evaluates the petition?
The chair.
Like the validity.
In other words, there's a petition, and then you have to evaluate it before you bring it to the executive committee. Says this is a petition that meets our criteria.
Yeah, I think the committee would ultimately be reviewing, the transportation committee would ultimately be reviewing and considering the petition. This is basically just requiring that like a petition has been conducted and some amount of work has been done to engage with the community and get a petition. Yes.
I don't like significant number. It puts you in a very awkward spot to say, oh, that's not significant.
That's what I was
So
getting
I
at
think
before.
I would suggest a petition must be signed by 100 individuals in the vicinity. Because on the block, it's
Well, yeah,
too
what is
restrictive. What if they live just around the corner? My suggestion, 100 people.
Is 100
in
too
the-
much? I don't know. Like, I don't know, on some blocks, would 100
Especially in like this commercial area.
Yeah, I think it would be.
How many
That's too high?
on this block?
Right.
50?
Yeah, right.
So I hear
I
50.
wouldn't enumerate, because a lot of people are gonna go with the other definition of significant, meaning important. So two names to them might be significant.
I kind of think
Significant, put,
25, I mean, it's not a lot, right? That's like,
But that shows the
at
legwork.
least.
that's
thing.
insignificant.
but it's at least 25, so.
Okay.
Yes, it might be insignificant, and then, but then we can discuss that in committee, and we could say like, okay, thank you for getting the petition, but like you only got 25 signatures and you haven't, but we don't think that.
So, but you need to
25, yes,
explain,
at
you
least.
need to explain it to the people who are bringing you the petitions. It's not just something for the committee. This is a burden on you.
Okay, so what about this? The petition must be signed by at least 25 individuals.
Well, if it's a residential block, maybe, but someone said on a commercial block where.
I think he's saying,
Hold on.
and then we discuss.
Yeah. Hold on,
Who qualifies? in commercial?
let's say at least 25, and then some will add in that like, and it should demonstrate it at a significant. Hold on, so the petition must be signed by at least 25 individuals, blah, blah, blah. And represent a significant, don't write this in yet, and represent a significant portion of residents or businesses on the block? No,
This is too narrow.
or we could just say at least 25.
No,
I think
it's too narrow because it only
Just
addresses a
demonstrate
certain
the
kind of
board,
demographic. Where it's residential versus mainly commercial
Right,
area.
so your concern is if we did this block, what 25 people are gonna sign?
I don't know where you're gonna find the 25 on this block.
You're right, I think that's,
You said you can be a business owner or employee.
yeah, but like, I don't know, this block is probably like what, let's say 10 office buildings?
Still undone.
So
Yeah.
you get 25 people working in one office.
But I don't think somebody working in the office even meets this criteria technically. It would be.
Well, I
that'd
don't
be-
know. You haven't spelled it out.
I guess it could be owners of businesses who are leasing space in these offices would theoretically
And who's
be.
the owner? It's a corporation. Who's the owner?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You did say employee.
Okay, so I guess employees, I guess, yeah, you would get,
Joe's Juice Table.
Go to Starbucks and get baristas.
And then I think number two
Yeah.
covers the issue of it being 25 employees in one company.
right,
That's good for diversity.
And let me just circle back to what I said before. You make it mandatory to have a petition. I'd say make it permissive
in that,
in that this is one way that people can bring this to the community board's attention, but it shouldn't be exclusive. There are other ways that, where, the importance can be raised by an individual, somebody who's done.
yes, but
historical
I
research,
think.
and they're never gonna get the petition.
Why wouldn't they get the petition? If.
Because they're not political.
Well, I think this is sort of political by nature. Like, I think we want this to be political to some degree. We want you to have to go out and, we want to make this.
Well, we
somewhat palatable.
as a community board add the political dimension to it, but, you're kind of, trying to squeeze every possibility into requiring something, in my opinion, is just a bureaucratic hurdle that doesn't serve a purpose.
It is a bureaucratic hurdle.
Yeah, but it doesn't serve a useful purpose in improving the quality of, our process.
I disagree in that I think it requires, it creates a hurdle that makes you have to put in like work and engage with it is a forcing function to require engagement with the community on the proposal map.
I agree with you that I do think that we should have it and that we should have that engagement with the community by the applicant. And to Larry's,
Oh, I agree
Theoretical.
with Maya on that, engaging with the community.
but to your,
But
to your
to put in this kind of
theoretical.
criteria.
No,
The 25 or?
I think 25 is fine. I really don't think it's that many people. We live in Midtown Manhattan, and also like if we expand it to like if it's on an intersection, there's 4 blocks right there. But what I was gonna say to Larry's hypothetical is like, what if somebody is found historically? I think the whole point of why we're readjusting this is to show that the community wants it. So if there is some great inventor that lives on 36th Street, but nobody in the community cares. The whole reason we're doing
then we
code
shouldn't-
naming
we
is
shouldn't
for
bring
the
it.
community.
You should,
Why is this now precluding, Maya or me individually, after having read this book, that there was someone who, is now dead, but, who, was discovered by this author who, represented the early days of this community.
nothing would preclude that. It just, you'd have to at least like
So
sell
I'm
25
I'm
people.
gonna have to go out and, tell
Yes.
people.
Yes,
Read this
Yes.
book.
Yes, or no, you have to say like, you'd have to stand in the corner and say like, hey, I read this book and it turns out like person had a significant impact on this block. I'm getting a petition to get people to agree to.
Because I think you have to-
Yeah, so this takes me back to the thing I said in the beginning with this kind of naming a name on a street corner doesn't really serve all that much of a purpose if the general public doesn't know who the heck they are.
Yeah, but that's fine.
25 people on the petition doesn't go very far.
That's not what this is attempting to do. It's just a means to require you to engage with the community and demonstrate that the community wants this.
I also like 25 because I feel like it's more than anybody's general family, and so you at least have to talk to other people.
I will call out importantly on this, we reviewed a proposal from Councilmember Maloney's office, and they are proposing 500 signatures, so we would be substantially less. Now granted, I don't know if that's what they've actually implemented.
Like
Right.
city council.
They can have their own, they can have different requirements from us, and I don't think we need to be entirely aligned.
So they don't want to be bothered.
Because, well, I think 500 is fine at a higher level because it is the next level. And then so when you're on the corner pitching, be like, listen, the community board has passed this, like we need to get 500 so we can get it through the city council. Like they now have that element to get 500 more, but we have a lower threshold because it's
Also,
just nothing.
they weren't asking for the vicinity requirement that was
Yeah,
like throughout
I think-
the district. Let's make that change as well. So Brendan, can we change 25 individuals that not located on the proposed block, but are located in the vicinity?
So 25 individuals.
Authorized that are located, yeah, on in the
Can
vicinity.
we take a vote on this particular clause?
Yes. In a particular number? Let's take a vote on whether or not we want a petition, and then we could take a vote on the number.
Okay.
Okay, so do we have a show of hands, people who would like to maintain? Raise your hand if you would like to maintain the requirement of a petition. All opposed? Sorry, Larry. Okay, so we're keeping the petition, all in favor of at least 25, requiring 25 signatures for the petition. Opposed?
Oh, wow.
Did you vote twice?
No.
No, we did it. It was us.
Or,
It's just two votes.
okay,
Just like my friend.
Yeah,
We can't see Sean.
John?
So.
so
Turn his camera off.
unmute and speak for us so that you may vote, if you're still there.
Arise.
Your tiebreaker vote, how many signatures?
I'm okay.
You're good with 25?
Yeah, I'm indifferent on this one.
The response of the night.
Sorry, you're good with 25?
Sure.
Okay, excellent. All right, great. So how many votes were for 25? 5 for 25? Oh, and 4 for something else? 25 it is? All right. Democracy. 25 it is. Okay, in the vicinity of the location, what's the wording in there? Is that fine just as is?
The proposed signage.
Sure.
Of the proposed signage, yeah, where you have the cursor, Brendan, already. Where we added vicinity on one. Yeah.
In the vicinity
In the
of the
vicinity.
proposed signage.
Okay, great. And yeah, we reserve the right to verify signatures. Okay, moving on. Section 4. We would need basically a letter, or statement, identifying the honoree, basically explaining the background, the location. Yeah, can you scroll down, please, Brendan? Supporting documentation as we've discussed previously, and the petition as discussed previously. And then lastly, okay, wait, any comments on that? I mean, I think it's pretty controversial. Okay, and then lastly, the chair, I didn't specifically call out the transportation committee because theoretically it could move to another committee in the future. Not foreshadowing that, just saying so that it stands. They'll review the application for inclusion in the committee's agenda, and they would then be invited to present, and the committee and or the board, would adopt a resolution, responding to your request. Okay, do we want to vote on any other comments? Okay, should, do we want a motion to
Move
adopt
to vote.
the agenda? Or
We adopt the
the
resolution.
resolution?
Yes.
Do we have a second?
Second,
Well, thank you. All right, any further discussion? If not, we'll go to vote to adopt the resolution as presented.
Okay, when I call your name, please say whether you're in favor, oppose, abstain, or not entitled. Michael Cohen,
in favor,
Maya Donahue,
In favor.
Rock Friedman,
favor.
Jason
In
Fromowitz,
favor.
Don Lamero,
In favor.
Anna Piceur,
In favor.
Miriam Ruff,
In favor.
Larry Shire,
In favor.
and Jerry Weinstein.
In favor.
With all 9 committee members in favor, this resolution passes.
Great, this will be fun to discuss with full board.
Public members, not so bad.
Yeah, 25. Moving on, do discussion of traffic conditions at the intersection of East 23rd Street and Second Avenue. Anna put together a resolution on this, we discussed the intersection, at our last meeting. Anna, do you wanna introduce the?
Sure, it's similar to past resolutions about dangerous intersections. It specifies that it's relating to traffic that's westbound on 23rd, turning south onto Second Avenue. And addresses the idea that their focus on the oncoming traffic from the cars makes them more reckless when it comes to the pedestrians after the fact. And it asks about looking into the idea of installations of turning signals or, you know, means of mitigating the situation.
Feedback, comments, or question, discussion?
Thank Anna.
Oh, sure.
I agree. I think it's great. I just, any thoughts about not having a turn there? To not have a left turn there?
When would your next southbound turn be? Just make sure it doesn't needlessly like make people drive more, you know, like west to then go east to go south.
Yeah, go to West Street.
I just don't want them to
I
drive
guess you take a right on Third,
longer. Right on,
or you just don't go down 23rd Street.
What are the alternatives if you don't
You
go
can-
down, I mean, Third Street?
If you don't, well, there's all the other streets. There's all the other streets.
You got
can't
Stuyvesant
go
down.
south on Third.
You got all the other,
Stuyvesant Square, you really can't.
you got all the other streets.
We
We have a map right
You got
here.
Madison Square,
Just making sure it doesn't mean more driving.
you've got Madison Square that interferes.
Here's 23rd.
Oh, so it's a,
This is Third. So coming here, you're taking a left, so I know 25th.
You have to make the right, so you're suggesting, you're saying you make a right and then make a
It's been
left.
made a pedestrian street west of Third Avenue.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, but come here and go like that, like this,
you have to go, yeah, you have to
like
go
that.
a right and make a left and then
On,
make a left.
on any of these one-way streets, because it's like the two-way streets that are causing drivers a hard time. It's
Yeah.
just,
No, yeah,
You're still making a left though, ultimately.
right, but you're
Uh,
making a left with oncoming opposing traffic
Right.
because it's a two-way.
right.
You're trying to only have left hand, it adds an extra left-hand turn, which isn't ideal for pedestrians, but all of them would be on one-way streets, is the thinking?
you
I
know,
get it.
you could take or leave it, but it's just a
Yeah,
thought.
yeah.
You could say either consider this or consider
Right,
restricting turns during rush hour.
Or period,
You
I'm not
know,
opposed to
or,
the principle.
constrict, restricting turns.
I mean, I'd be for restricting the turns during rush hour. But honestly, from what I see, like. I guess they could turn off at like. 22nd Street or 21st Street. This one has a left turn, like. They could turn off at like I guess they could turn off like 21st Street. At 22nd Street, the car is going from around 21st Street. Down here, that's also going. Make a left here. And then make a right, none of that's here, it'll be on First Avenue.
Larry.
I want to move the resolution as written.
without the,
Without any changes.
Why not have
what?
discussion now?
Well, you can do that, but I'm making a motion to hold the question.
Do a second. We do not have a second.
Second.
Okay,
Now you can have discussion.
Okay, doesn't that go to vote?
no, we could still continue to discuss,
Discussion before we vote, yeah.
I'm not opposed to asking them to explore it and they can tell us why it's a bad idea if it is.
So would the language be?
I'm supportive as well.
Installation of a turning signal or
Or alternative, turning locations.
Or turning restrictions and bulb outs, or exploring turning restrictions at this intersection.
Yeah,
So appropriate sites at this intersection, seriously consider the installation of a turning signal.
A left turn signal.
Yeah.
And or turning restrictions.
Or turning restrictions, yeah.
Yeah,
well, yeah,
Or timed turning restrictions? What is,
That's a turning restriction.
okay, well, I was just, when I jumped back
No,
in, but
no, I
that's what I heard.
think Barack, you know, made a good point. And I think we've got an answer here. What do you think?
I love it.
We could put times if we were suggesting we don't want it to be potentially all time,
That's
but
just what I heard in the conversation, that's all. I'm not like tied to it.
okay, any further discussion in the res zone?
Now we can vote.
Great, now we can vote.
Okay, when I call your name, please say whether you're in favor, oppose, abstain, or not entitled. Michael Cohen,
In favor.
Maya Donahue,
In favor.
Rock
In
Friedman,
favor.
Jason
In
Fromowitz,
favor?
Tom Lamoureux,
In favor.
Anna Picior,
in favor.
Marion Ruff, Larry
In
Shire,
favor.
and Jerry Weinstein.
In favor.
All 9 committee members present voting in favor, this resolution passes.
Great, all right, thank you, and for reading that up and everybody for the discussion, all right, moving on, next, discussion of financial year, statement of district needs and budget requests, Brendan, what is pending on for us on this?
I
We,
think the final language, no?
yeah, did we need to vote on the final language?
I didn't really like the proposed language.
Did we still, I think there was still something on May, maybe pending?
Yeah, because I proposed something about 2 months ago.
Yeah, okay.
And based upon merging our two ideas.
Got it, sorry. So that we need to do some more follow-on work there is,
But do we have time?
yes, right? We don't have to get this nailed down for, when do we need to finalize, Brendan?
Ideally before the summer break, actually, because like after the summer break, it's September and budget requests and district needs submission starting of October.
Can you pull up the paragraph that I emailed out a couple months ago?
Yeah, I can pull that up, just give me a moment.
I think it's almost there.
Okay, we can do it now.
I mean, we could just probably pull 1 or 2 sentences from one and add it to
Well,
yours, right?
Larry did merge them more or less, but I felt like there was still a heavy emphasis on the Second Avenue subway part of it.
Even though they lost
Yeah.
last month. Okay.
Well, the idea was to try to bring everybody together with a.
Thank
with
you.
a shade of-
Relayed
What
your-
a
shade.
I remember the idea.
To
It
add
was to add 1 or
elements of
2
this, of the runner-up.
sentences, not make it 50-50,
But to get unanimous. approval.
because Second Avenue lost.
Yeah,
Okay, so this was what Larry drafted, but pasted into a Word document, sort of. No, well, the text a little bit larger, it's a little bit smaller,
Does it include what Maya wrote too? Like,
I think he used mine, like short version as the base, and then he like overlaid the Second Avenue subway stuff.
But sorry, between the two of you, because you both primarily worked on this,
Mhm.
are we good generally with Larry's proposal and we want to tweak it, or are you opposed to, would you rather us start with your proposal? How do you wanna?
Let me read it again, so I'm not first though.
Yeah, okay.
And I haven't seen it. This wasn't shared, right?
Was it shared?
I don't.
This is what Larry wrote.
I don't think it was
merge
shared.
Ours.
Oh, so.
All right,
like,
I'll
you
just,
haven't seen it.
read, in case you haven't seen this, and most people haven't. Community District Six continues to face significant transit accessibility gaps. In other words,
That's all.
focusing on transit as a point of departure. And that's where I think Maya wanted to go somewhere else, correct?
Well,
Yeah,
my
'cause-
point of departure is where you start in the next paragraph. The greatest improvement can be achieved by realizing the plans.
Let's pause, let's all take 5 minutes to individually read through the statement of district needs, and then we will return to discussion. We give people moments.
I just want to point out that last paragraph there is where we have the greatest convergence.
Yeah.
Yes, so you say, so the second paragraph you're saying is where don't have the same.
So that's what I was gonna say, is
Yes.
I, first above anything, would wanna move the third paragraph into the second position to reemphasize that priority.
And I have no objection to that.
Okay, and I would reduce some of the background information that's about the Second Avenue subway and maybe change like the greatest improvement to just be an additional improvement.
Could we remove the entire second paragraph?
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I am willing to make the concession of putting something about the Second Avenue subway in there, like I wanna be equitable to the whole committee, but I think it is, the way that it's balancing is not actually what we agreed upon.
Yeah, I do agree, while I appreciate the effort to bring in Second Avenue, I think
Yeah.
it pushes it primarily to Second Avenue rather than.
Yeah,
primarily
it doesn't
accessibility.
sound like accessibility, even just the way like the paragraph.
So Brendan, why don't you just move up that last paragraph?
Yeah, the third one.
Switch,
to the-
switch the second and the third, and we
In
can look
place.
to see how that stands. Then we can focus on the next one.
How is transit defined? Like, what is that word transit? 'Cause maybe I have like a very like narrow,
Where are you
Definitely.
reading, sorry?
the very first sentence to fix.
Well,
it.
that was,
Transit accessibility.
I guess to me, it reads as like anything related to the transportation, yeah, the DOT.
Cause we've talked about sidewalks not being wide enough, like does
Yeah.
that fall under?
Yes, DOT, right?
I don't think it does, but I agree with you that that's something that we're talking about here.
It is in the
well,
paragraph
in
though.
the second sentence of the second
Yeah.
paragraph, district streets should provide unobstructed sidewalks and crosswalks.
Yeah. Travel?
So you want to try travel accessibility?
No, because transportation doesn't really talk about walking either. I don't know how you, transit and,
Pedestrian, and
How about,
You have bicycling, you
how
have
about the raised,
skateboards.
how about the raised bus bulbs and bus boarding islands, which the raised bus bulbs would make it easier for which make it possible for there to be less of a gap between the bus
Mhm.
and the place where the people board.
hold that thought, because it, agreed, but doesn't address what we're trying to solve at the particular moment. I'm trying, what word to use there instead of transit? What about accessibility? Remove that entirely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Face
Just say
significant accessibility gaps.
It's like it's falling under a
Well,
specific district.
if you
need
wanna,
category.
substitute the word transportation for transit to broaden it, what do you think?
No, because I think it doesn't include things like sidewalks. Sidewalks are,
They're part of transportation.
uh,
You get from here to there.
There they are.
I like significant accessibility.
Okay,
All right, we'll take the word out.
yeah, I
Take out
think let's take out
transit.
transit. Significant transit, just make it significant accessibility. Yeah. Great. I'm good with that first paragraph.
Yeah, so am I. And on the last paragraph, for those who want it to be softened, I'd say, greater improvement can be achieved instead of the greatest.
Sorry, I'm not there yet.
Yeah, that's probably,
I think we could say greater improvement in
how
our
about we say,
subway system.
how about we replace it, the word much?
I still, sorry, what did you say, Malcolm?
How about we replace it with much improvement can be achieved,
I'm still having an issue.
finalizing the plan
Mhm.
to extend the fully accessible Second Avenue subway.
I'm still having
Instead
an
of great
issue.
improvement that can be achieved, because
Right, because once you open the Second Avenue subway with every entrance being accessible, you have greatly expanded accessibility.
I agree, but I think that kind of doesn't address fully what we were talking about last month and the month before, where accessibility is just beyond those like those specific things to the subway. And what I was going to say is like the second paragraph feels like a laundry list of things we want, and then like the third paragraph still feels like a spotlight on the subway.
Well, I think our focus on that second paragraph is the main event. What I was trying to do with that third paragraph was to be aspirational and to reach further than the little stuff. Something that's a 20-40 year horizon to
I think
achieve it may be,
Perhaps
maybe
maybe
what's
that's how
involved.
we introduce it, and we give it like 2 sentences, that we introduce this as like a longevity goal of ours.
I think we can pull one sentence from that third paragraph. and
Yeah.
Which one would you
Yes.
pull?
Well, like a combination, like kind of almost like paraphrasing that entire paragraph.
Well, I'll
Into
ask you
one.
how you would summarize that.
Larry, this is the first time I'm seeing
Okay,
it, so
sorry.
I just like need a
Okay.
minute. It could say something like the Second Avenue subway can relieve overcrowded buses.
But it also provides some,
I get it, I just
Accessible
wanna make sure that we're like staying true to the vote and conversations that we've been having. Because this actually is like co-opting what we voted on
No,
and
that-
making it again about the second.
no, what I'm doing is I'm adding something. In other words, I'm saying we don't have to choose between the two. We have both. Because half of us
But we
have
didn't
one, when you
choose
have
when
the
we voted.
emphasis on the prior paragraph, that comes first. And then this comes second.
Go ahead, Brendan, sorry.
So a possible idea is maybe, and I think Miriam suggested this to some extent, maybe a single sentence in the second paragraph saying a fully accessible Second Avenue subway should be built in our district, or something along those lines. I
Yeah.
can wordsmith it, but it would be fully.
What if we said we do that and we preface it with like in conjunction,
Yeah,
as this
I
is like
think
a
Larry's-
multi-year
we've been trying to
project.
Fuse the two, and I think what I'm hearing consensus, even though I'm kind of on your side, is to make them distinct.
Yeah.
And instead of the editorializing of the greatest improvement,
Yeah.
simply state that we affirm the need to complete, to extend and complete the Second Avenue subway.
The full build extension of the Second Avenue subway to the financial district should be completed.
How would you feel about just listing the things you want, not even in paragraph form? We want unobstructed sidewalks, we want, whatever you want, just like list them out. I don't know if you feel okay.
I feel like it is kind of on a list, but I see what you're saying. Cause like when you look at them side by side, like the second paragraph, like what we had voted on looks like a bullet point list
Mhm.
written out, and then like the Second Avenue.
So I'm looking at what Brendan just wrote there, and I'm just for to view it, can you modify the first 2 words as saying the full build extension to the financial district of a fully accessible Second Avenue subway?
I would like to see this sentence as like its own paragraph at the end.
Well, I'm just trying to get the sentence, then we can locate it. A full build extension of a fully accessible Second Avenue subway should be completed through our district. And if you wanna move that, tell me where.
Yeah, I would like delete the whole third paragraph and take out that sentence and just make it its own statement at the end,
Okay,
because
okay, go ahead. Brendan, take that paragraph,
Take that out.
in the second sentence, take it out.
and the one we just modified, just set it up alone
Yeah.
at the bottom.
So as a separate paragraph?
Yes,
Mhm.
I like it. I like it where it was,
okay.
as part of. the
You like it
bigger
where it was?
Accessibility.
I didn't like it where it was in the sense that it still came before all the other things, which is why I wanted it lower, but I see what you mean where you're trying to tie it.
What if we just take that last sentence, keep that as the last sentence, take the first sentence and move that before the current last paragraph? Yep,
Mm-hmm.
put that,
In
Put that in
front
the
of
thing.
full build, yeah,
yeah,
I'm fine with that,
Yeah, that's nice.
All right.
this way we're calling out the subway,
yes.
it's not, we're not focusing on the subway.
And we can do for the bus bulbs, like at the end, cause we're already talking about the buses of the second paragraph, right? That Michael suggested.
Yes, so we would add,
And so we just say and or installing bus bulbs or something, right?
sorry, where?
At the end of the second paragraph, insisting bus drivers pull in all the way to the curb to ensure accessible boarding and
Yeah,
or
pull into the-
install.
They pull into, all the way into the curb, or,
And or install bus bulbs.
or utilize bus bulbs.
Yeah, that's true.
So where would the?
There,
go?
where you have
Right, right.
After the word curb on the final line of the second paragraph,
So, and insisting bus drivers pull all the way to the curb
or utilize bus bulbs.
or.
Yep.
Okay.
Let me move this to vote if anybody wants to second it.
Are we all comfortable?
No objection from me.
Okay, let's move to, do we have a second to adopt this as our,
I'll second it.
excellent, thank you. All right, let's go to vote.
Okay, when I call your name, please say whether you are in favor, opposed, abstain, or not entitled, so what we have here. Michael Cohen,
In favor.
Mike Donahue,
In favor.
Rock Friedman,
Favor.
Jason Fromway,
Favor.
Eric, Sean Lamoureux,
In favor.
Anna Picior,
In favor?
Marion Ruff,
In favor.
Larry Shire,
In favor.
and Jerry Weinstein.
In favor.
Okay, all 9 committee members are in favor of this firm.
Great, all right, moving on to the agenda, almost last, we have the chair's report, I just have one thing I wanted to discuss, last week, there was a, collision on a high-speed electric scooter and a cyclist on the cycle path in the Queensboro Bridge, really terrible accident, both individuals died as a result of the collision. I don't think we want to get into discussing changes and recommendations related to that, both because that just happened and at the time that we now have at the meeting. I think we should address that in a future meeting, the path and safety on those paths.
And also enforcement,
Yeah.
cause that was a legal scooter.
Yeah.
Has any additional information beyond what you reported, which is all that I know about it, been developed? From witnesses and the like?
I have not seen anything, and that's partially why I didn't think we wanted to specifically like make recommendations today in today's meeting, given that it just happened and
Nobody
there's,
lived to tell the tale.
yeah, unfortunately, I think there was some eyewitnesses of at least that, I'm not sure how much was observed, but yes, I would expect there to be more details forthcoming. I believe there's been a little bit of enforcement at that site from what I've heard, and anecdotally that there was some NYPD.
Have they improved the
enforcement check.
lighting on that section of the bridge?
The whole pathway.
You know, there are different places that are very dark.
It has lighting as far as like, I mean, it could have closer together lighting.
Yeah, I'm not aware of any changes in the, and like, I don't know if that factored into, I think this was during the day for what it's worth. But it's not to say that it's not, it's something we should ask for.
An issue then.
I think just like things to think about, either, asking for like another lane, that, so that we can have more space for, one, each direction.
We already removed the pedestrians.
Yes, so I guess, yeah, the potentially, do we need another lane for Queens-bound traffic versus Manhattan-bound traffic? Are we asking for?
Quite sure where you would put that.
Yeah, you would have to take away another lane of motor vehicle traffic. Something like some sort of center median.
What was-
that we might?
Where exactly
One of the-
was,
potentially
where
has-
exactly was the crash? Was it on the hairpin turn?
I believe it was in the
I think
center,
it was on the
span,
bridge.
yeah, just to like straight away.
So it was a game of chicken.
I think the e-scooter was going uphill and the cyclist was going downhill. I'm not sure which side, the Manhattan side or Queens side, yeah.
Did they report clock speeds of the collision?
I don't think there was a much reported
No,
on that. There was.
Which one of these was in the other person's lane?
Yeah, I haven't seen, so I don't think we necessarily should discuss, let's wait for all the facts to come out. And we should discuss the incident, and we should discuss if there's any changes to the Queensboro Bridge that we would ask or recommend.
But I think one fact that we do know is that the e-scooter can go 53 miles an hour. So we know that, and it's hard for the police to distinguish these from scooters that go 15 miles an hour. And so enforcement is really difficult and challenging, but the way apparently it's done in other countries is the police will test them and put them on some kind of conveyor belt and see how fast it'll go. But that involves a lot of interacting with the public.
Is that, what, do they register them? Is that why, or they just stop them?
So like, if it was in New York, they'd stop them at the
They'd stop
entrance to the Queenborough Bridge and then test them on this conveyor belt system and see how fast it can go. And if it can go above X amount of miles per hour, confiscate it.
Which countries do this? I'm just curious.
I assume European countries that are ahead of us dealing with this.
I'll just raise the solution there is sale of these, not allowing them for, currently they are legal to sell. They are not legal to operate, but they are legal to be sold, shipped to, New York City.
Yeah.
That's one way to potentially.
So the potential problem, the argument is that, as with the any kind of off-road vehicle, ATVs and things that don't require license plates, is that you can do whatever you like on your own private property. You're not restricted from buying it. So it would have to be, you just can't own this thing in any circumstance. That would, be like gun regulations.
Yeah, that's something to consider. So yeah, I don't think we should get into it really detailed now, but I wanted to acknowledge the incident happened. Frankly, I think it was, I was very upset about it. And yeah, we will talk about it more. I don't think I had anything else. Any other old or new business? All right, seeing none, do we have a motion to adjourn?
No, to adjourn.
All right,